Hi Best Buds, it's Cathy with Cathy's Garden and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. Before we get started, I wanted to tell you that Frankie Francine did go to the veterinarian. She had to stay there a day, get some fluids, some vitamin B. She got some medicine and she's back home. So she's resting and she's doing just a lot better, you guys. Thank you for your prayers and your thoughts about her. I truly appreciate, and so does Frankie Francine. All right, so we're going to talk about junk mail. I haven't worked with junk mail in quite a while, and I thought, my goodness, let's address that again. There are so many things that you can make with junk mail. You can make junk journal inserts by simply covering your junk mail and then sewing it directly into your signatures. That's something you could do with it. You could place them together and make a junk mail junk journal. And that's what we're going to do today. I think that sounds like great fun. So I have already begun because, this process of covering your junk mail does take a little bit of time. So let's look at this one. I just simply covered my side of my junk mail and I placed a coffee dyed lined piece of paper with a fussy cut. I did the same thing here as well as here, and then here is the window. You can see the window. It reflects that light. Let's put that one over here. This one I decided to put a pocket on it, filled it with ephemera. This is the window part right here. I just decorated it with a large butterfly. I put a belly band over here on this side, and on the back I put another pocket. Right here we've got the window. These are all large windows. I put two pockets, they're deep pockets. And then I put a side pocket right here. And I divided it in half so that they would be, the pieces of ephemera will be held tightly and they won't fall out. So that's why I glued right here in between. Then there's this one. Now this one's a little different. I took my mail and cut it open. I'm going to show you how I cut it open and all that good stuff. But I actually took another piece of paper and I folded it and I cut it to fit and I glued it in. So this one has, okay, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's out of just one piece of junk mail. Now you could actually make this into your little junk mail junk journal if you wish. It would be super cute to put a little tab on here. You could even put something hanging down off of the tab. Of course you can decorate it any way you want, but I am going to use it as a page insert for my junk journal made out of junk mail. So you saw that I did a flip book here in the beginning, and there's another flip book actually over here on the other side. Just a little journaling area there, some decoration, but you can definitely journal on that page. You can even journal on this page. 2 pockets, and then the back is where the window is. So let's go ahead and let's bring in our piece of junk mail. Now this piece of junk mail is pretty large. It is actually at the largest part. It's 9.5 inches by 6 inches. But I want to make this to be, now let's see here. I'm going to actually draw around and then I'll measure it for you. And this is the size that's going to be my junk journal. And it's going to be, actually I'm going to make it 4.5 because it's going to have to wrap around quite a bit of material here. And that's going to take up some of the real estate, shall we say. And I don't want my cover piece to be way back here. I want it to come out at least close to the edge. So that's why I'm going to lengthen this to right here. So I'm going to make a mark I'm going to lengthen it to right here. Oh, I better make it more than that. I'm actually going to make it 5, and then we can always cut it back, but I have a hard time putting more on, right? All right, so that's 5 inches, and then I have marked it at 6. So shall I make that a little larger too? Maybe 6 1/4. Okay, let's mark that. Now I'm going to bring in my little guillotine. I think it will fit in here. Let's give it a chop. And then let's chop it. It won't fit in there. I'm going to have to grab my larger guillotine. Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff on top of it. Hang on just a second. I've got my larger guillotine, and let's go ahead. I'm going to mark this. I marked one side, but I didn't mark the other. I said let's try it at 5, and we can always remove more. So I'm going to cut it at 5, right like that. All right, so now we've got the 2 sides cut. Now I need to release it right down here at the bottom. So bring it over here and release it. Okay, so we've got that done. So now we look just like this. Let's go ahead and let's stick all this in, and let's see, let's put this, and then maybe this one. And then how about this one? And then we'll stick this one, just for an idea of how this might wrap around. Yeah, it's going to be too long. I think that this size is good. This one looks like it comes out to about right here. I'm just going to mark it like this, just to see where that leaves me. I'm going to turn it back on itself if I can. And let's see, what is that? That's about 4 1/2, a little more than 4 1/2. Let's go ahead and give that a cut. I think it'll fit. No, Cathy, it didn't fit the first time. It's not going to fit the second time. Okay, so I'm going to line it up here a little better and pop it in here and give it a little trim. Okay, there we go. Now, we need to decide what we're going to put in our window, but first I'm going to address any of these little pieces that are not glued down. So I'm going to get them glued down so everything is ready to go. Okay, that's all I needed to worry about, that piece right there. Do I want, I guess I have to, because I don't want it to open up this way. I want it to open up this way. So this is just going to be narrower down here and heavier up there. What do I want in my window? Well, I have a chapter 1 paper, and I think these are so sweet. These snapdragons, and I thought, ooh, I could pop that in there. I'm thinking I might like that. Let's open it up this way, and that way we can look and see. Just move it around, see what you like. Isn't that sweet right there? That's so sweet. But this one seems a little darker, heavier feel. Yeah, this one's a little, maybe it's because it has a lot of empty space, whereas this one is more filled with pictures and bees and butterflies, things like that. Do I want this for my front? I don't know. It seems like it's awfully, this is awfully heavy. I was going to make this one for my front, but it's not wide enough, as you can see. This was the first one that I made, and I cut it, and it should have been bigger. And yeah, well, you know what? Yeah, it's this is a lot bigger than that by every bit of a 1/2 inch. So I'm thinking, after I look at this, maybe I want something a little bolder, something bolder for my cover. Now this goes more with my I don't know, I don't want to say heaviness, but the look of what I've already got going on here, it kind of feels like it fits just a little bit better. So I'm going to use this right here. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to move my window around, making sure that I've got it placed exactly right side up, going the right way. It's going to be open this way. So just move it around and see, what do I like? Well, I really like this dark flower. I think it has rose leaves, but it looks like a peony. So I'm not sure exactly what it is, but that's really pretty right there. To get that, the easiest way I know how is to take my glue and just go around my window of my junk mail. And since it's a pretty big piece here, I can go out further. Now remember, this is the fold. I'm not going to cover the fold with this. If you could, but if you don't cover the fold, then it's going to really fold a little easier and it won't be so stiff. You will be able to freely open each page. I'm pulling it down because I'm looking right there. I think I like that right there. I like that image right there. So now I'm going to fold it back on itself like this. And I've got glue everywhere, but that's okay. We can wipe it up. Let me get my wipe. All right, I wiped it up and I just trimmed out that piece of paper. Now what we'll need to do is just bring in, whether it's scraps or whether it's full-size pieces, and we're going to do a little bit of collaging. Now, I really like this, and I've been using this throughout. That's a great color with it. I even like the blue, although this blue and this blue, they kind of they don't really go well together, not as well as I would like. There's even some writing that looks really good. So you can get into your scraps and you can just start pulling out. Now these two greens, they're okay. They go well together. You can start pulling out your scraps. I've got mine over here at the side. And you can just start popping some things on just to see how you like it. I like this. I think that's really pretty. So what I'd like to do is start covering my area here. I want this green to be down here mainly because it's a little heavier field, and because it's on the bottom, I want this to be covering this area right here to give it a little bit of weight. And I'm going to add my glue directly on to my junk mail right here. And then I'm going to lay this on the top. Instead of trying to cut my pieces out, first before I do that, I'm going to line it up a little better. Instead of cutting my pieces out and trying to get them to fit back the way I wanted them, I find it a little easier to do it this way. I just got some glue on there and I'm just wiping it up. So now I'm going to trim this out. I got that all trimmed. Now, let's see, how about if we place, I'm going to trim this off right here. If we place this one right here. Now, do I want it to go all the way down or do I want it to come up like this? I think I want it to go all the way down. I like the way that looks better. And I'm also thinking that that's not straight and I'd like it to be straight. So I'm putting it in my big guillotine and at least making it a little straighter. And I'm going to add my glue directly to my envelope like this. And then laying my piece right on there. Lining it up first before I do that, because then I can decide if I've got it going straight or not. That's not bad. And press it down right there. I'm just going to turn this like, whoops, this way. Turn it like this. And turn it back on itself. Lining it up first before I push it down. Okay. Yeah. And then trimming. And like I said, you can pull it all the way around if you want. I just find that the pages are a little easier and it's less bulky if I don't pull it all the way around. Now I did on one of my envelopes. I made a side, that's how I made the side tuck with those little pieces of ephemera. I did pull that around and cut it off. So you could do that. I did that in one of mine. I'm just going to keep going here. I think I want to bring in another color. I used this color in one on one of the envelopes. I don't know yet. I'm still kind of, I need another color. We could put the green up the top. We could even put it not all the way across. I like that. I think that looks nice. And then maybe we could put a little blue up there or blue down here. If we put some blue down there, I need to make this straight. See if I can get this to a big enough piece right here. And then we can maybe cut it off there. Okay, let's get this straight because it's not straight. Turn it this way. See if I can get it straight. And then let's cut it off here. Now, how does that fit? Not too bad. I do like that blue on there. And I like the green. Or we could take it this way and then put another piece here and another piece there. I really like that blue there. So I think I'd like to go ahead and glue this blue down. Now I'm going to take my pencil. I'm not going to take this down all the way. I'm going to let that green stay there. So I'm just going to mark it right here. And the reason why I'm marking it is that's where I'm going to stop with my glue. I don't want to put too much glue on it. I don't want to go all the way to the top. I just have to wipe it off. So let's do it this way. And popping that on. Just like that and pressing it down. And then you know what I'm going to do next is I'm going to trim it off. I just find this is easier. Alrighty, so now we talked about putting this on here like this. I'm just looking at it, turning it around, seeing if maybe I like this way better. Yeah, I think I'm going to like two little pieces in there. So I'm going to mark this right here like this, of course like that. Getting my glue, and I'm using my art glitter glue. You use the glue that you like. And adding my glue right here like this. Okay, and then popping down my piece. So it's great scrap buster. I don't know about you guys, but my scraps are just getting out of control. I'm thinking about doing a couple of videos about addressing our scraps and what to do with them and, you know, all of that stuff, just so we can utilize our pieces because they're good pieces. They're just pieces, right? And I'm just looking for something else to pop on here. So let me see what I can put here and here. Remembering, I'm trying to remember that this is my cover now. All right, so I think I know what I would like. I'm going to place this right here. And what this is a piece of this paper. And then I'm going to put a little sliver right here, which is a piece of that. And I think that's all going to pull it all together very nicely. So I'm going to do that. All right, so I've got those little pieces pieced in. I think that looks really nice. Now we need to cover the back. So I have I've got a solid blue. I think I might just pop that on there like that. And because, now, you know, I talked about not putting the same paper all the way across the fold, but you can put the same paper on this side as well as this side. That will work just really nicely. So let's see. I'm going to place that right on the edge, and then I don't know if it'd be easier to fold this over. I'm just looking to see. This is 4.5, and what did I just kind of fold it at? 4.5. That was pretty good. So I do think I'd like to glue that on there. Now this is front, so if I turn it over, there are sometimes things that, yeah, I want it to go this way. So I can glue it directly onto there and then just fold it over. So I'm going to do that. All right, so let's look what we have. We've collaged our front, and we've got this side done, and we've got our back covered. Now we need to cover this right here. So it's going to be the inside of our front cover. Remember that piece that I started out with and I thought I wanted it for my front? Now I think I'm going to place it right there on the inside cover. So simply by adding my glue directly onto this and then laying my picture, my printed digital from Chapter 1 papers right on the top and trimming it out. All right, so I've got that done. Now I think I'd like to put a pocket here or here. Let's see. I've got that scrap. I've got this right here, and what size is that? That's about 2 1/4. That's about the right size for the pocket that I'm thinking of. So let's go ahead and finish trimming this out. I'm looking to see, is that straight? That's not too bad. Well, I didn't cut that straight. Let's try that again. Okay, that's better. Now I want my pocket to be about 2 inches, and this, we don't have any extra to reinforce the top. So what I think I'm going to do is take another piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to glue it on to here. Now I don't have to use all of it. I can just trim off a little bit. I'm just reinforcing the top of this pocket that we're making. So I think maybe something like that. I cut off 2 because I didn't know if I needed another one on the other side, or maybe we should make a belly band. All right, so what I want to do, it doesn't matter if what print or anything like that. What we're using it for is we're using it to strengthen our paper, because this is just copy weight paper. And sometimes it's nice to have it sturdy right there on the top where you're going to be getting in and out of your pocket, you know, this way. So I will ink all this up. So because this is right there at the top and it is a pocket and it's right there in the fold, I'm going to ink it up now. Just like that. I think I might need to add more glue right here. I don't think I took it down far enough. Like that. And then let's just glue this right on there for a pocket. Now let me make sure that's the inside, because I don't want to put anything on this side. That's the back, and I want that to be smooth. I must remember that. Adding my glue, I'm going to add my glue here and here, and then a little bit right here. Okay, and then popping it on. And this is our pocket on the inside. Now I'm pulling it down a little bit because I still want this to be able to fold over without binding. There we go, pulling it over just a little bit. Yeah, that's nicer. And trimming it out. Okay, just like that. Great. Now we've got a pocket right there on the inside. And of course, we're not going to use that. I was just showing you it's a pocket. Now, over here, I was talking about maybe we can use a belly band. All right, so I found a scrap, and it's that green that I was using. It's a little bit short, but I think that's going to be all right. It's just copy weight paper. And so I'm going to back it with another scrap. Now, it does not matter if it's seen or not. Well, it doesn't matter what it is because it's not going to be seen. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to glue this right on to another scrap to reinforce it. And then I'm just going to trim it out so that I can use it for a belly band. So getting it trimmed out quickly here. I did ink it already, but I think I'll have to ink it again since I've got a little bit of that other paper showing. Okay. Now let's glue this on, and for a belly band, I'm just going to line my paper up so that I can find the center. I'm going to add my glue to the ends, and I'm going to just pop it down like that. I think I'll put it just like that. Now we can all decorate this up. Now one of my other ones, the belly band that I made, I put a butterfly on it, I believe. Where is that belly band? There it is. Put a butterfly on it. All right, so we've got a pocket, we've got a belly band, we've got our cover. That is going to look fantastic. Oh goodness. Now I'm going to ink this up. I'm thinking about rounding my corners, and I'm thinking about sewing around the edge. You know how I am about that. And then we're going to need to fill our pockets and then finish decorating our front, because I think this junk mail, junk journal is going to be absolutely adorable. We also need to make sure we have our papers in exactly the way we want before we sew them in. All right, let's look at our cover now. I went ahead, I inked around the edges, and I did sew with my machine right here. Now I inked around here, but I did not wipe it yet. So let's go ahead and take a little wipe, and let's wipe our window so you can see that it wipes up any of the ink that got on your window. I popped a few little tags in here. I put a label down. I put a blue butterfly and some ephemera in the belly band. So now let's combine all this together and see how it's going to look. We've got our junk mail that I added the extra piece to, like I showed you in the beginning. I thought that would be good. Then this is the one that I thought was going to be the cover, but it didn't work out. Then there's this one that has lots of writing spaces on it. Let's pop that next. And then this one that has the pocket and the belly band and another pocket on the back. I think that must be turned around wrong. Yeah, it is. It goes this way. Alrighty. Then that one's next. So I think that will be lovely if we sew it in that order, because I think that looks great there, and that looks really nice there. There's our little flip book. So let's decorate our cover before we sew it in, and then I think we should add some tabs to our pages, which happens to be our junk mail. They're junk mail pages and a junk mail cover. I've got some beautiful crinkled seam binding from my scrap cabin shop. This one happens to be misty blue. And I thought, ooh, that might be just what we need on here. I'm not sure yet exactly, but I'm kind of liking it maybe crinkled up around this way. I usually don't do it this way. I usually work around over here. Let's go ahead and put some right here on the window. I have my hot glue gun. It's a Sure Bonder high temp. And I'm going to not put the hot glue on the window itself, but over on the paper that we decorated our junk mail. On the paper, I think it would actually melt the window. So I'm not going to add it to there. Now, if you don't have a hot glue gun, it's okay. You don't have to have a hot glue gun. You could use whatever glue that you like to use with your fabric. And you probably could put it on the window, but it might come off, especially if it gets cold. If it gets cold, it might pop off of that plastic window. So I would suggest gluing your ruffle or your fabric onto the paper itself. And we're almost there. And I'm just pinching it with my fingers, even though this is already crinkled and I don't have to pinch it much. I just need to really guide it. So just making sure it goes where I want it to go. And I want it to look kind of, you know, free, and I don't want it to be structured. Not so much in the ruffles, but I guess it's structured that I'm making it go in a line. All right, let's look at it. Do I want to continue at least just a little ways, or do I want to cut it off? I think I want to cut it off. So let's just do just that. Let's trim that right there. And I'm going to anchor it down, adding a little glue and anchoring this down. Just like that. Oh goodness, isn't that pretty? That really is quite beautiful. So I was thinking of adding maybe a little loopy bow, maybe right here, maybe on this side. Yeah. And I also was thinking about a little bit, excuse the reach, of lace. So, yeah, that lace looks really good on there. So maybe just smush it up just a little bit, maybe a little bigger piece. I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and trim up a little bit more, like this, maybe. Goodness, that's pretty. Okay, getting off. I'm going on another tangent here. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's this way. And I think I just want to glob it up. I think I just want to have a little glob right there, I think. Let's go ahead and I'm going to tie a bow. I'm going to use my thread. This is just regular sewing thread. It's nothing fancy. It's not extra heavy or anything like that. And I'm just going to make a couple of loops here. Whoa. And I'm going to have a tail. And let's unwind a little bit of our thread. And let's tie our bow. So I'm actually going to tie it. So let's see if I can do this without getting all fumble fingers and get it tied. I did double strand it, 2 strings, so that's where it can get, you know, your eyes can start going wiggy on you. And it's hard to see the 2 strands. There are the 2 strands. Now let's see if I can pull it through. Okay, I think I've got it, you guys. I think so. Okay. That's pretty, but I don't know. It's covering up an awful lot over there. I don't want to cover up that beautiful burgundy color. Yeah, it needs to be over here. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, I like that a lot. So we're going to scrunch this up, this little piece right here. I'm going to do a little bit of scrunching. So I'm going to add my glue, like so, and I'm just going to scrunch and then press. Kind of move it around. There you go. Just like that. Okay, now here's our bow that we made. let's pop that right on there. Just like that. Get that in place. Alrighty, I'm going to cut my thread just a little bit. I'm going to leave some of it. Kind of like the way that looks. Now, I think I need to glue this down. I don't like it flopping. That was my bird. Did y'all hear that? She must have fallen off her perch or something. Oh, her name is Ricky Lou. She must have fallen off her perch. Okay, so I think I want a safety pin with a few little beads or something on there. Yeah, I think I need to grab that. I need to grab my things to sew this together. Oh my goodness, that's going to turn out great. And we're going to put some tabs on here as well. I think it calls for tabs to stick out, don't you? Yeah, I do. I think it's calling for some tabs. Won't that look, oh, that's going to look great. Now let me grab the safety pin. I think it's going to be a bulb pin. I'll add a few little beads to it, and let's finish this up. All right, you guys, look how cute this has turned out. So we added our bow, and I added a bulb pin with some small seed beads and a little tiny gold star. I added some dangles onto the signature that I sewed in. Let's look at each page. I think it turned out great. So we used our junk mail to make our pages. We used our junk mail to make our cover. I do love everything about this little journal. Now, I really thought that adding some tabs might be super cute. I'm still kind of considering that. I'm not sure. They're not going to stick out real far, but I think a little bit of bling might be just what this needs to finish this off. So I'm going to add a little bit of bling, and then I'll show you what it looks like after I get that done. I do love how this has turned out. I hope it has inspired you to use your junk mail in a junk journal way. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.